Everyone, it's Nick with Us versus Her. Today, we're going to prepare for tomorrow and what to expect for CPI. What are some of the trades? Going to be talking about Coinbase earnings as well. So before we get into it, if you could do me a big favor, it is free. Hit the like button. I definitely appreciate it. If you're a new viewer and you're complaining about me asking for likes, then just hit dislike, okay? Now, getting into tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow we have the CPI data coming out first thing in the morning here. So, one of the things that we were looking at in terms of CPI, I mean, this is kind of what we've been waiting on for the whole week, is, last month it came in hot, 9.1 reading right here. And I know this is a terrible chart, but I mean, this is the government for you. This is a government website. We went to 9.1, and then the time before that, it's 8.6. So back in March, we had an 8.5 reading, and then we went down to 8.3, and people were like, okay, inflation is cooling. We're taking it easy. But the problem was, after that 8.3 reading, we started to get higher gas, everything started to cost more. Then we went to 8.6, and the last time we went to 9.1. Now, what I will say is the last two times Biden and the White House has come out and said, hey, we're expecting inflation to be hot. This week, they have not come out and said that. So that is interesting. And if you look the last two times, so if we look at June, 9.1, and then we went to May was, 8.6, which is hotter than the 8.3 was back in April. So last 2 months in a row came in. White House says, hey, we're expecting it to be hot. But, it wasn't. They turned out they were right. Now this week, they did not come out and say, hey, we're expecting inflation to be hot. So is inflation cooling? Possibly. But I mean, even at 8.5, 8.3, 8.7, 8.8. I mean, as you can see right here, we went from 8.5 to 8.3, and then we had the face ripper to 9.1. So even if it does cool down to, let's say, 8.5, what I really would like to see is like a below 8. We see a strong downtrend in the inflation. I mean, let me know what you think down in the comments. I definitely want to know what you guys are thinking as the viewer. Want to know, like, what do you think? He's going to be hot, not hot? But for me, I mean, I think it's definitely going to cool down a little bit. And, in terms of being a consumer, common sense, I mean, we've had price decreases in the grocery store. We've had price decreases, at least from my own experience, Target, Walmart. I mean, I know because I know their businesses are bleeding. They've had terrible earnings, guidance. They've been lowering guidance. I mean, it's been crazy. But I mean, that kind of has to say, like, the demand started to dry up for those products. So what do they have to do? They have to lower price to get rid of inventory, which is going to help with the inflation issues, right? Now, I know that gas has had we're on a 7-week decline right now, and Biden's patting himself in the back, saying, "Hey, I got if you go up 100% and you come down, I mean, no one's clapping for you." I just hate to say it. I mean, I'm not trying to be biased. I criticized Trump and Republicans just the same as the Democrats. I'm a numbers guy, but I don't like when you take credit for something that you were part of the problem for, right? We had insane gas prices, and we had a 7-week decline. We're putting, we're giving you a little breathing room in your pockets, and $25 a month is going to save the American people. Like, if you're stressing over $25 a month because of gas, I don't think they're not seeing it the same way we're seeing it, right? I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Now let's look at some of what the charts were doing last time, and which is kind of interesting. So last report, and I find this very, very, very interesting, right? So last report, CPI report, we were in here, and we're back in this mode. This is the S&P, okay? So we are back to where we were prior to the previous CPI reading. So we had a strong dip, then we came back up, and prior to the reading, and then after the reading, we saw a strong move down, which created the 52-week low as of right now, and then it took us all month, but we're pushing back up, and now we are, we're starting to come back up here. Now the question is, are we going to break out of here? I mean, we are above on the 100-day. We've been trending up on the 10-day. But same situation here. The only thing that I will say is, back then we weren't above the 100-day or the 50-day, but the bar has been lowered right here. I mean, the bar for the 50-day is way lower than what was back in here, right? So has there been a trend change? I mean, what I expect tomorrow is, what's been happening. As soon as the CPI reading comes out, we start to we go up, we go down, but we ultimately go up before the crater. So we'll see if tomorrow kind of breaks trend in that. Like, I'm expecting it to go up, the market to go up, but will it hold? Usually, last few times it has not been able to hold, at all, right? Let's look at NASDAQ as well. NASDAQ, the one thing I will say is tech has been stronger. However, what's kind of been going into the weakness, we've had AMD, Nvidia, those chip stocks have been getting hit hard. I mean, today, AMD was down 4.5%. Nvidia was down almost 4%. I mean, we're in trouble here with the chips, and we're coming up on some interesting moves right in here. I mean, if AMD and the chips cannot hold it together, I mean, we had an epic run here from 71 over 100. I mean, this was an epic run, right? And now we're coming back into this danger zone where we dip below the 100-day. AMD was automatically safe, but will tomorrow? I mean, I don't know. Tomorrow's gonna be a tough one. So I'm just gonna say, if you're trading like Nvidia or AMD, we're potentially going to be having some issues. I mean, Nvidia dipped below the 50-day moving average like AMD, except this is the 50-day, not the 100-day. I mean, Nvidia didn't even make it to the 100-day, and we know Nancy Pelosi, she did take a loss on this stock, but I mean, she actually sold up, I think up in here versus like down in here, right? So just be mindful, like, there's a lot of games being played right now, a lot of things happening in the economy, a lot of tech layoffs right now. I mean, every day right now. I mean, this earnings season, I mean, you had Robinhood saying they're laying off 23%. Robinhood right now, we'll pull this up real quick. Robinhood has been, it's just been at the bottom. I mean, this stock may be bottoming out, and maybe the layoffs are going to help save on some costs. And I know it sucks to talk like that, but that's what it is. Coinbase right now, after hours, they just had earnings. So let me pull it up. I mean, their chart was a little bit ugly here prior to earnings. They couldn't stay above the 100-day moving average. Now they missed on top and bottom. So EPS, they lost They lost by $4.98 per share versus a loss of $2.65. So that is huge. So they lost $4.98 per share versus what were the expectation was $2.65. And then you had revenue coming in at $808 million versus $832 million. So I mean, it's pretty insane. Which, I mean, you're not surprising though. I mean, I will say, like, it is bullish that Coinbase has that BlackRock news, where BlackRock is going to use Coinbase to initiate or allow their institutional investors access to crypto and crypto investments, which is huge. I was talking about this the other day, where, if you're closer to the pipe, which is AKA money, the more chances that's going to flow into you. And, right now, BlackRock is like the biggest on the planet, trillions and trillions of dollars under management. And they linked up with Coinbase, which gives them major access to a lot of funds. But the question, that one thing I said though, we don't know how it's going to play out. We don't know how institutional investors are going to get into crypto. Are they dipping it in? We know that they're probably dipping in, but are they going to go full Monty? Are they going to? We don't know, and we don't know what this is going to do to Coinbase revenues. But obviously, it caused a spike here on the stock. But right now, this is last quarter's reading, so we're going to see what forward, later this year, what it's going to look like if those institutional investors are buying. But right now, Coinbase revenue declined nearly 64% as investors exited the crypto market after last year's dramatic run. Retail transaction revenue came in at $616 million, down 66%, and below the $667 million consensus among analysts polled by Street Account. So they also reported a 1.1 billion net loss. So, at the end of the day, it comes, crypto is not hot. And we know that a lot of people that were trading crypto 2020, 2021 don't have the stomach for it. A lot of people that are trading the stock market in 2020, 2021 right now don't have the stomach for the stock market. So, it's not surprising that, retails are, say, hey, it's easier clocking in at McDonald's than trading crypto right now. Let's just get that bag. Let's get that MCD bag, bro. But right now, Coinbase is, after that epic run, this went from 55 up to 116. It definitely cooled down. It did tag 100 yesterday. It tagged 102, but since then it just came straight down. Right now, after hours, 83.5. I mean, in my opinion, not investment advice. None of this is investment advice, just for entertainment purposes only. In my opinion right now, Coinbase, let me know what you think. It's probably coming down. I would imagine it's going to come down to 75 area. It's going to come down to 75 area, which we could probably get some, we'll see what IV crushes. But, looking at Coinbase today, calls were 88,000 and puts were 156,000 bought. Puts were double in size than calls. So that's pretty crazy. Now, if we go into September, we can maybe see like the 75 call right now. It's not as, let's see here. We're going to wait for some premium crush because these are pretty hot right here. So we'll see what the pricing is tomorrow. You're going to get a better deal tomorrow if we get some premium crush. The premium was interesting. Came down a little bit today, which is interesting. But, with that big of a drop, what was the expected move on this thing? Expected move was $16. Right now, it is down $6. So, I would want some, before I get into a position on Coinbase tomorrow on options, I would like to see a bit of premium crush. If it stays here, if the expected move, this is between now and Friday, $16. So if we can get a nice premium crush tomorrow, be a nice opportunity to actually get a chance to short Coinbase here if it doesn't tank too hard in the after hours or in the pre-market or at open. So if you watch this video to the end, let me know what you think. Hit the like button, leave me a comment. As always, stay safe, stay green. It's us versus herd.